We are back on Morning Line. Thanks for joining us this Wednesday. Amanda Dobbs and Amanda Swam are both with us this morning. They're with the VA homeless program and talking about homeless veterans and you know the issue that's at hand. And you said it's maybe you've been in this for more than a decade or about a decade, and you as well have been here for a while. As bad as they've ever seen it because there's just no place for the homeless to go. Any homeless, much less homeless veterans, and the number of them that have need. What's disappeared with the properties that they would stay in sometimes, typically when in the past you've placed them or helped them find housing, do they stay there for a period of time and then get on their feet and move on, or do they tend to stay? I mean, have you lost like an apartment complex or a small one that was known for helping housing the homeless, and then it's sold and gone away? What happens to the properties?
That's our crisis right now.
Okay, so they were there and they were helping, but then at whatever reason, it's gone.
It's been sold, the property. So this is the thing that put us into crisis mode and started pushing all of this to get the word out. Is we have a property that we lost that's been one of our go-tos, and especially for our vulnerable and elderly. It's a single-level unit, so a lot of people are on oxygen, wheelchairs, different pieces like that, and it was recently sold and it will no longer be within the affordable range for our program. And so that is 20 veterans that have to be moved within 1 year.
Oh, so, and they're veterans, they're living there now who now realize that they're not going to be able to stay because it's too expensive.
Yeah, it wasn't good. Yeah, I have 12 between me and my other coworker. You don't have any coming up, right? So in October and November, we have 12 that have to be moved.
How are you going to handle that? How have the veterans just reacted when you've told them this? And again, by the way, the demographic, I don't know what people were imagining, but I mean, some of these are older veterans.
And it's a community.
It's a mixed bag.
So this is a very small community of units.
Yeah.
And they're all the people there take care of each other.
Oh, boy.
And so they're losing
pulling
family.
them apart, sure.
Yeah, we have people that have been there 7, 8, 10
And they
years.
have shared, you know, I mean, they have similar experiences maybe, having been all veterans, so they're very tight-knit.
Yes.
So they've been told they're going to have to go?
Yeah, I went and sat with all of them.
How long ago was that?
I told them I'd say almost 3 weeks ago. I went to each veterans home and discussed it with them.
And they're like, but are they like, where are we going to go?
Absolutely.
Yes.
And you don't really have an answer right now, do you? Or?
What I told them is the VA is doing everything we can. We will find somehow at least something temporarily. They will not be back on the streets. I believe the VA will pull together and we will not have them back on the streets. We will find something.
We should say,
I believe that.
We're going to put out I think there's a email where landlords who maybe are watching this program who want to help or have some space, are you looking for people to step up and say, yes, I've got some property? Is this it on the screen there? Landlords interested in partnering.
Yes.
TVH homeless program. What would someone who contact that number be offering, or what are you looking for?
1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, bottom floors is for this situation that's hitting us right now. We need bottom units, but they have to be closer to October and November because they're under leases, a lot of them, until then. So we can't even move them now.
Wow. Let's take a phone call from James. James, good morning. Hi, James.
Good morning to you all.
Good morning. What's on your mind?
Cubicle. Temporary cubicles. They're called honeycombs. You can look them up online. I've stuck them up on my website. There's several of them. I've looked at them before. I think this is a wonderful way for temporary housing for vets. I really do.
Temporary cubicle. So have you guys ever heard of those?
Not cute, not in that language.
What do they look like? Tell me are there some locally here, or is this something you're just researching right now?
I'm researching it. I've seen them before. The Chinese and the Japanese is the first place I ever seen it. And you can look them up online right now. It looks like a honeycomb. There's several different versions. Some of them are tubes. Some of them are octagon. Some are squares. They're actually really cool because if you do a communal shower and bathroom, it's real easy to install.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Now, there may be all kinds of different types of structures. You hear about, people renovating, tractor trailer, cargo holds and things like this, or train cars and things. The thing is, you need land, or you need a place to put all this. I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad idea. It may be small, it can be served well for, I think I know what he's talking about in
temporary,
Japan.
Maybe.
Yeah, it would only be so you're looking for temporary or more permanent housing?
Yeah, this would be,
that would be temporary, it sounds like. But what these guys, these veterans who you had to go meet with 3 weeks ago and tell them they were going to have to move, they're looking for, that was permanent for them in their mind. They were staying there paying rent, and they had no place else to go. They weren't leaving. And they're looking for some place to go to that'll be permanent again.
Of course.
Correct.
Yeah, these are veterans that served their country. They deserve a home. They deserve a place to come home.
Is that one in Rutherford County you're referring to?
Yes.
And so, all right. What do you say? Leaders say? What do you guys do as the VA? I mean, what kind of outreach? You talk about how you're going to solve this issue.
We're going to solve it with our veterans getting these guys housed, and the VA is going to rally around it. I have little doubts.
Well, and there's got to be other veterans out there, right, who are in a position to help, right? Right? Do you think some?
We have been trying to get the word out there. We've been attending more community meetings, bridging those community partnerships, speaking with other homeless providers in Rutherford, trying to put our heads together, many meetings around the table, trying to brainstorm ideas and figure out who has resources, who has funding. We're actively in touch with landlords all across Rutherford that we know of to try to see if any openings have come up. We also will have a housing specialist with us on our team to help us navigate this on the landlord end, to try to drum up more availability for units as well, so that these veterans, especially the ones having to be rehoused, do not have to enter into homelessness again.
Right.
And our counterparts have done great too. We've had calls from like our teammates in Lebanon or Cookville or those areas saying, hey, we have some units that are ground floor that are looking at maybe rehousing them, if the veteran is willing, into a different area. So it's our community of social workers and nurses, and our whole VA homeless program has really rallied around us and stepping up. So. And our administration too, trying to think outside the box and come up with places and stuff. So everybody is working around the clock to get this taken.
How did the veterans come to you in the first place, seeking help? I just, even if someone's watching now and wants to, how do they get onto your radar that they need housing, or when they come through the VA? Is that basically it? There's
any number of ways. We have community partners that get in touch with us for a referral. We have primary care within the VA that might be speaking to a veteran and learn of any housing or homelessness issues. They can alert us so that we can then screen the veteran. We have social workers throughout the hospital and various programs and nurses. The VA is very good about communication amongst each other. So when they find a need for a veteran, they try to connect that with another program within the VA. So that's really a lot of them. We have our National Call Center for Homeless Veterans, and we get a lot of referrals that way as well. So that's a national hotline, and the veteran can call in from wherever, and they will route it back to the nearest hospital for somebody to respond and answer.
And we're talking about veteran in a singular. Oh, go ahead.
We also do tons of outreach. We go into the camps. We go out there, we take our cars, and we
so now you don't know, so you're going into some of these homeless encampments, like you say, some of them behind Walmart. Now, not everyone back there is a veteran. I mean, they're homeless, but you're back there, and how do you go about doing that? What do you do?
We ask if there's any veterans that are a part of this program or this shelter or this location, and if there are, we give them our card and tell them that we can assist, or we can try to assist them. I mean, when you're out in one of those encampments, you're willing to help any of them.
Of course. And what's typically the reaction when you go out there like that?
When we go out there?
How do they respond?
Typically positive.
They want
help. Well, if you approach people with respect,
sure, of course,
and they can trust that you're there for the right reasons and to truly help. And if there isn't a veteran in the encampment, we as social workers would typically try to bring community resources too, so that at least they know about community resources, even if it's not veteran specific, because you want to have a community trust you so that you're able to have their buy-in when you're working in the housing process.
Right. Listen, we have to take a break on that note. We'll take more calls and continue our conversation on getting help for homeless veterans right after this. Stay with us.